What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome to what is likely going to be my final build for Nioh 2, the Sarutahiko Yokai Mage. Now, as you can probably guess from the name, this is a build that both uses the Sarutahiko set and has a focus around being in Yokai Shift. That is right, a Yokai Shift build. This is something that a lot of people have tried to do since the start of Nioh 2. Obviously, living weapon builds were super popular in the original Nioh, and it's always kind of fallen short. Back towards launch, you were able to do like an invincible Yokai Shift build, and that was promptly nerfed into oblivion, but it has returned. Yokai Shift is pretty capable now through the potency of Sarutahiko. Now, the main gist of this set is something called Blood of the Yokai. The basic idea is every time we use a Yokai ability, we get a stack. The more stacks we get, the more anima we generate, and as we use our abilities and spend that anima, we generate Amrita, which then fuels our Yokai form. So all in all, a very synergistic relationship there, along with some other nice stuff like Yokai ability damage and Yokai ability charge in Yokai Shift. And all in all, it creates a playstyle that is a lot of fun to play. Now, I will say outright, I don't think this is as strong as, say, Magutsui Susanoo or Izanagi Susanoo. You know, both of those builds are very, very strong. In fact, I would go as far as to say that the corrupted Susanoo build that I did before, that only got stronger with the DLC. You literally just add in Baku and Nightmare Bringer, and it becomes even more top tier than it was before somehow. But while not as outright potent in terms of melee effectiveness, this build is very, very strong. I've managed to clear Abyss with it, so, you know, we're into the depths of the Abyss. And I do think it's actually a stronger build from a co-op perspective, because when this build gets its stacks up and comes online, we are able to spam cores almost as effectively as we could with the Soul Core box glitch. So you are just dumping out Yokai abilities one after another. So the base of this build is going to be 7 pieces of Sarutahiko. We're going to be picking up 5 pieces of Shadows of a Dream, and then the 2-piece set bonus of Patricide. Now, to break it down here, since Sarutahiko is a grace, you're going to absolutely have to have it in both of your accessory slots here, as well as both of your ranged weapon slots. On top of that, I'd suggest one of your weapons being Sarutahiko, so you can use whatever weapon you want. In our case, we're going for the fists. I think fists are a great anima generation weapon, but you know, you can use whatever weapon you want here, quite literally. You could use fists, you could use, you know, split staff, tonfa, switchglaive, pretty much anything that's gonna generate good anima, go for it. Beyond that, you need to just have 5 pieces of Shadows of a Dream, and then pick up 1 piece of Genru somewhere for the extended Yokai Shift. Now, the main benefit of Shadows of a Dream is we get some anima charge, another 20 extended Yokai Shift, and then 8% melee damage. Initially, I was doing 4 pieces of this and 3 of this, but I think the 8% melee is worth more than the 15% Amrita gauge charge. Alternatively, if you don't like Shadows of a Dream, the Suzuka set is a decent alternative here. The 5-piece set bonus will... There's a lot of similarities here. The main difference is we are picking up 10% more anima charge, and an anima bonus purification, and Yokai ability charge and Yokai Shift by 20%, but we're trading away 20 extended Yokai Shift. So that is a significant loss in how long our Yokai Shift is going to last, which is, you know, honestly, that's something you're going to have to decide for yourself. You do have more anima, your abilities charge incredibly fast already, so personally, I think the extended Yokai Shift is more worthwhile here, but you know, maybe you test it and you find you like this setup, this alternative setup a little bit more. But otherwise, so, you know, you could do the Suzuka setup, but anyway, going back into the gear and the stats, we can get Sentience on both the chest and the waists now. We're going to want Sentience because this set, of course, also has a melee damage versus corrupted 30%, so you're going to want to have a corrupted main weapon. Beyond that, it's just star stats. I'd like to have star anima charge on Helm, but I don't have it. Active skill key damage, melee damage, got lots of that. All that stuff was also going to be in effect in Yokai form. I have Sloth Ninjutsu hit. I prefer to have Omyo Ninjutsu hit, but whatever. You're gonna need a set bonus requirements reduced. This can roll on any accessory now. I just think it's easier to farm a Yasukani with Sarutahiko than a random Sarutahiko Grace that has it. Now, as for the scroll, ideally I'd like to have something like this. Path of the Beast is super strong with this build. It gives us 25% more damage and key damage on our Yokai abilities, while increasing the anima cost by 25%, which is negligible to begin with. But unfortunately, I haven't had luck getting Courage and Constitution on this. Ideally, Sentience, Increased Attack, Winded, Courage, Constitution, Ethereal, Item Drop A, Path of the Beast. That would be a perfect scroll. I have not had luck, and I've already burned through probably 10 or 15 incense on this damn scroll. So, you know, whatever. I'm still using my old scroll with Courage, Constitution, Winded, and Sentience. I'd like to have Path of the Beast, but I'm not giving up Courage and Constitution. Beyond that, I have Kunayan because of the Sloth on Ninjutsu. These to help apply, what's it called? Confusion. Over here, Extraction and Arc Yokai is all we really need. Soul Purge and Last Gambit are fun to mess around with, but I rarely use them. This is stuff for sneaking through the Abyss. Now, to talk about the Guardian Spirit choice, as well as our cores, let's hop over to Shrine here. Now, as much as I wanted to use the new core of Baku, honestly, Yumihami is just going to be a better choice here for a Yokai Shift-oriented build. We have the 20% extended Yokai Shift, which helps out a lot, and honestly, Phantom is just a safer bet because of how easy it is to dodge stuff in Phantom form. We're able to easily dash and attack from range. It makes it much easier to maintain it. If you're confident playing this with Brute, if you think you can maintain it and get enough attacks in without taking a pop shot, use Baku. Baku works great here. But personally, in all the testing I did, I found that Phantom was just a lot easier to work with compared to Baku. So, Yumihami if you're going with Phantom, Baku if you want to go for Brute. Feral, I didn't really try too much. I mean, if you really like Feral, I suppose you could use it. Use Sahoya. It's a solid core, you know. Nullify Confusion is great, whatever. But anyway, talking about our cores in particular, there are three main types of cores you want. You want to have something that is going to be your primary spender. In this case, I went with Ippon Tatara for the obvious lockdown potential, but there's a couple you could do here. Ippon's great. Itsumade is great. Kiryoki is another really good choice. Any of the new ones, stuff like Fuki or Suki, any of them will work out fine here. Gozuki could work out fine here. You're going to want one that's going to be your big spender. I went with Nightmare Bringer because I like the synergy of it. OG Otakumaru, also a decent choice here. Yatsuno Kami, a decent choice. You know, built-in anima on that. Anima bonus, confuse enemies on that. You could even go for something like Kasha if you want, just for even more life drain coming in, since you are going to be using yokai abilities a bunch. So, you know, pick a big spender and go with it. Lastly, we want a very, very cheap one. Personally, I like Gaki here. Gaki has Anima Charge Dark Realm and some life drain on yokai ability hit. Makes it a pretty decent choice, but Gaki is a good one. The Oni Bees are good choices, and Scampus actually isn't a bad choice because of the 5% Anima Charge enhanced. I would not suggest using Kodama or Kappa because you want something that's going to hurt the enemy. Technically, Kodama shoots out a little rock, but you know, most enemies aren't going to stand still and let that hit them, and Kappa is considered a defensive core. So you can run with whatever you want. The point of this build is you're literally a yokai mage. You are going to be able to spam your yokai abilities, so you want to pick abilities that you really like. You know, feel free to switch things up. Run Ippon for a little bit, and then pull out Fuki for a little bit, and then pull out Gozuki for a little bit, or Magatsu for a little bit. You know, run whatever you would like. That's the beauty of this build. Our stats haven't changed at all since the last build. We're still running Constitution and Courage. All my excess stats have been leveling up Heart. Strength and Skill are high enough to meet gear requirements. Stamina is high enough to be in B Agility. Dex and Magic I still have at 30. If you're going for an ultimate stat in either of these, drop some out of Constitution or Courage or Heart or whatever the case is, and boost one of these other stats up to 150 to pick up the ultimate. As for the clan, we are still using the Meta clan. Meta clan basically applies weakness when you do a grapple, so that's what allows me to do like 50, 60k grapples on enemies, which I find super, super nice. Beyond that, let's jump in. We'll do so, you know, the depths just rotated. I had actually recorded all of this already, and then the depths rotated, and I was like, you know what? It'd be easier to just show them the depths. So the depths is what you unlock after you have beaten all 108 floors of the Abyss. You can consider it like the Super Abyss. So the enemies are even beefier, things are even stronger, and you know, should give us some good boss fights. I'll probably go through like 3 floors, because I don't want the video to be too long. And for those that haven't done the Abyss yet, you should not be fighting all the way through the Abyss. No, 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 no. You gotta be sneaky. Sneaking is how we get done the Abyss. I don't think I can sneak past him. That doesn't matter. I know where I'm going anyway. Let me go here. To be able to fall down here. Go. Here we go. Kill one guy. Ah, Christ. Flying bolt's actually pretty cheap. That might be a decent choice if you're not running a super high level spender. That's the defense buff. It's like the only one I don't ever want. It's not needed. I mean, unless the only thing that could actually give me trouble down here is going to be like a Kaishin Kyojin. If you can get nullify damage yokai form on all of your cores, that'll be good, but you really need to have it on all 3 of your cores for it to even be useful. Just having it on like 1 or 2 cores ain't gonna cut it. The problem is they nerfed it. It used to be like really, really strong. And you could stack it up and get basically like 100% vulnerability, and then somebody had to go ruining the fun. Actually, you know what? I'll probably just cut all the running. Save us some time and just have a boss of the underworld. Underworld Depths number 2. Welcome to Tornado Man with tornadoes. It's literally like Soul Core Box, except it's actually legit. Moving on, here's Depths of the Underworld, floor number 3. I mean, honestly, right now, this is like the highest tier of content we can do. Just our daily depths. Oh, he actually got me. Hey, Yay, and we got our damn scroll. Please tell me you're good. Finishing, Oh, you know what? Since we got the damned, let's go do that. It's a purple enemy. Purple enemies are usually pretty OP, so that'll be a really good demonstration of how strong this build is. I have fought some purple enemies that I've just been like, nope, not doing it, throwing the scroll out. Yeah, 4, that's a pretty cheap cost for a on-demand sloth. Benki and then Minamoto. Oh, it's gonna be Super Birdman Minamoto. Yo, he's probably gonna beat my ass. Birdman Minamoto is not easy. Got sniped. This is the problem with these purple enemies, man. They just take ages. It's like a freaking raid boss. So before we wrap up, I did want to show a little bit of co-op, because that's actually something where I think a build like this really begins to shine. You just got a chance to see how ridiculous some of those purple named scroll bosses are, and that is only exacerbated in co-op, where the health pools just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And on that note, a build like this works great because we're quite literally just like locking a target down and it can't fight back. So works out really well, almost from like a support perspective, being able to, you know, keep an enemy not fighting back. Basically, we just get 5 stacks, pop our yokai for him, and then should be able to keep whatever we're hitting down for the majority of the fight. now we're literally just charge attack, E-Pawn. But what's great here is that E-Pawn interrupt is hitting so much that this guy's not really getting a chance to hit it. Which, I mean, we have one person on our team that's doing a critical build. Look at that. Poor Magura never had a chance. So on that note, we're going to wrap things on up here. Couple final closing thoughts that I want to make mention of. The new Otakumaru drops the upgrade skills for Yokai form, so Brutal Combustion, Ferocious Gale, and then of course the one you saw us doing, Phantasmic Burst, which it's basically just our charge attack, but we throw out 4 glaives as opposed to 2. So whatever type of Yokai shift you're going to run this build with, just make sure you go ahead and get those upgrades because they are solid. The Brutal Combustion is actually pretty nice. It does like a follow-up kind of, I don't know, an AoE wave that heads out and hits enemies, which is pretty nice. And then in addition to that, keep in mind you have 2 Guardian Spirits. So, you know, if you want to just quick swap over to one, like I could quick swap to this and then throw out Akasha and then swap back and go back to Epon spam. But so if you want to run, you know, 6 different cores and really embrace your inner Yokai Mage, go for it. I know I didn't really bother doing that at all because I was just trying to show how broken the build can be. But I think one of the beautiful things about this build is that you have that variety. You know, you can just throw out 6 different Yokai spells just as you will, and really just kind of keep spamming them. So either way, that's going to wrap this one up. I know a lot of people are curious if I'm going to do this all over again come February when it releases on PC. Honestly, probably not. Back with the original Nioh, I didn't go all the way to the Abyss on PS4, so when it dropped on PC, that was the first time I really had a chance to go all the way through the game into the Abyss and the higher tier difficulties. Whereas with Nioh 2, I ended up doing that on PS4 and now PS5, so I'm sure I'll still play it. I'm sure I'll try and come up with some more kind of goofy builds like this that are, you know, viable, but with a bigger focus on just fun factor as opposed to like super OP factor. But either way, you know, whenever it ends up happening, I'll see you guys then. So I'm sure I'll still stream plenty of Nioh. But otherwise, for the time being, this will be our final build. So thanks for tuning on in. Appreciate all the support on the Nioh content as always, and I'll see you guys next time.